You found yourself in another episode of Locked on Bulls. In today's episode, we're going to preview tonight's game coming up against the Orlando Magic. Question, what's going on with P. Will, him being hurt? And then, has anybody heard anything about Lonzo Ball? We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked on Bulls.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked on Bulls. Locked on Bulls, member of the Locked on Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears. Since we're coming over, I'm taking over for you, bro.
That's the announcement. I'm going back to work, and Haize is taking over.
Haize is taking over. Yet another podcast for Haize. But with that being said, Pat, we face the Orlando Magic tonight. Now, the Bulls have lost 5 out of the last 6. We all know 3 in a row. On top of that, how do you feel about this game? What are some things concerning you? Do you think the Bulls can get back in the winners column tonight against the Magic?
I'll say this: you better. You know what I mean? This is a game that it shouldn't mean that much to you, and I believe Paolo Banchero is out tomorrow or tonight versus the Orlando Magic. It shouldn't be a struggle for you. It shouldn't be something that we see the Bulls come out on the losing end of. But listen, if you play like you did against Denver, you play like you did against New Orleans, you will be, right? Here's the thing. Teams aren't going to just lie down and die in front of you because you're the Chicago Bulls, because Michael Jordan once played for your franchise, because Scottie Pippen's ex-wife is with Michael Jordan's son. Nobody's just going to sit there and just lay down in front of and just let it happen. That's not how this thing's gonna go. So you got to come out with a fight. And you know what? These are the teams where you're supposed to come out and you're supposed to break their spirit in the first quarter. You're supposed to destroy them early on in the game. And the thing is, don't let them back into the game. That's the one thing we haven't seen from the Chicago Bulls team all season. Things that they struggled with last season, even right against those sub 500 teams and stuff like that. This should be a cakewalk game for the Bulls, but the thing is, I can't say that it will, especially when you've got one of the worst offensive ratings in the NBA. And yeah, your defense is top 15 still, right? But the last 2 games hurt that rating as well. But you can't come out just lifeless and think that you're going to come away with some of these wins. You had 2 games where you could have came away with wins against really good teams. I want to say the Bulls are going to win, but I can't. This is a. I feel like we've been saying this about the Orlando Magic for 10 years now. This is a young, scrappy team, and they're going to come out and they're going to try and especially Wendell. Anytime he plays against the Bulls, he wants to put up 25 and 10. That's what we get.
I mean, he's also questionable tomorrow night, so we'll see if we actually see Wendell. The biggest concern I have is that Gary Harris is maybe making his season debut tomorrow against the Chicago Bulls, which means he's probably going to get 7 3-pointers against the Chicago Bulls. I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That and Mo Wagner is going to, spray us out the building.
Franz, too.
Well, Franz might have a normal day. It's usually the dude that sucks. Not sucks, but the dude that's very the regular player that destroys the Chicago Bulls. So definitely could see Mo Wagner go off for 40 tomorrow. Now, it's the same thing, right? We could sit here and we could break down what's wrong with the team. We could sit here, we can break down what this Bulls team has to do. But at the end of the day, we've said that for the last 3 podcasts. We've said that for the last 3 games now. 2 of them against New Orleans, right? There has to be better adjustments for Billy Donovan. There has to be better focused attention to detail from the players here, right? I think again, right, when you see that second half happen, there just wasn't as much attention to detail on the defensive end. First half looked great. That second half of basketball, you come out and 3 3-pointers immediately, wide open 3-pointers coming off of the screen, puts you out of the ball game, and you can't fight your way back into it. That's the part for me that has me most concerned going into this game.
This team has to execute, and that's what it boils down to. And I know it seems simple, and we talk about it as if it's this thing, hey, you just go out there and execute, you got it. But at the end of the day, the fact that this team has been playing so flat, so without heart, at some point you would think that as a player, as just a competitor, you're going to wake up a little bit, play a little bit tougher, give a little bit more effort. This is not a team, even though they have only had 4 wins on the season. One of our weaknesses, interior defense. You know what this team can do? Score in the interior. Bo may have a big night tonight.
Yeah.
The Bulls have to be locked in. They have to have some type of pride about the way they're going about the game. If this Bulls team comes in and they are lackadaisical, they don't execute, they make it seem like they just feel like they can get in and out of the game whenever they want to, this is going to be an ugly, ugly game for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, and it's going to be, listen, you have to find a way to stop the bleeding. And this is the part where I want to know kind of where the leaders are in this building, right, like here, again, we've said multiple times on this show, right? Like we're not the people that are going to be overly worried about 15 games into the season, right? Like we've seen this turn around. We get to 2025, right? I told you I'll be a little bit more worried. I'm gonna be like, okay, this is a mindset that's happening into a quarter of your season. That's a problem. But at the end of the day, right, like there has to be somebody that's gonna step up and call somebody out or speak on somebody not playing up to snuff, right? Because right now it doesn't seem like there is. It just seems like a bunch of guys is like, we're gonna get this together. We're gonna get back in the lab and we're gonna work on it. And we're gonna make something. I'm hearing a lot of lip service, but I'm not seeing a lot of production. And the Billy Donovan, not saying that he's that same level of coach, but is very much like Matt Nagy when it comes with the word salad. You know, he'll drop a lot of words into a press conference, and you'll be like, all right, you told me a lot there, but is any of that actually going to play out?
You know who's going to end up being the vocal leader? The guy who's going to look Zach LaVine and DeMar in the face and say, listen, we need y'all to step it up. It's going to end up being Tony Brown. I can't even say it with a straight face.
All right, get him out of here. Get this guy out of here, bro. Get this guy out of here.
No, what if you hear that like Tony Bradley gave some long, passionate halftime speech that just got the Bulls on track and be like, hey, man, listen, this season's been weird, fam.
Yeah. No, that would be wild. That would be wild, bro.
That would literally be like how did we get here?
Hey, bro, you know what that would be? That would be just like we're done. 15 games into the season. You know what?
Wemby, you're coming to the Wendy.
Let's see if we can start taking from Wemby on. Tony Bradley's giving the empowered. He knocks down 1 3-point. He's like, I got out there and I did my job. I won the 3-point contest. I knocked down the tray ball. Where are you guys at? It's like, bro, you played 2 minutes. No, I need some fire from y'all. I'm done with you. We didn't even know you owned the team.
Oh no, that's if Marco. Imagine if Marco, Billy Donovan be like, "Who y'all let in the locker room? Who's this dude giving us this speech right now?"
You want to know what's wild with Marco, especially like because the Bulls played Detroit over in France, so like Marco's in all of these promotions. For the game over in France, like a lot of the stuff, like Marco's in it, Vooch is in it, a lot of the overseas guys are in it, bro. And I'm just like, man, this has got to be odd. Like Marco's in all of this, and he's not on the team. Like he's played a total of 4 minutes this season, bro. Like that's interesting. I don't know, but
that's crazy.
Nah, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, somebody's got to do it. I hope it's not Tony Bradley. I hope it's not Marco Simonovic. You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think that guy can be Ayo Dosunmu. But Ayo hasn't played up to snuff either. Ayo's he's been really good defensively. That's the thing that we look for him for. But honestly, right, like Ayo, how he runs the offense, they're not getting up as many shots. The shots per game is down. The pace is a little bit slower. And I saw a lot of people saying, you know, well, we should go to Alex Caruso because he's better suited for this moment. Caruso runs a slower pace than Ayo does. So, you know, I think that there's a lot that goes into pace of play, getting out on the break, making different things. And I need to see more from these guys as a whole.
That's what you run Tony Bradley as the point guard. We're covered.
We won't even have to worry about about a blowout, bro, because the ball will be in the other team's hand before it gets to half court.
I mean, listen,
just turnover every play.
Don't even worry about it.
Tony Bradley at the point. That's tough. Point Brad. Point Brad is bad. Why you in a cook Tony Bradley mood today? What did Tony Bradley do to you today?
Hey, bro. just simply existed, bro.
Just
That's all.
existed.
It just existed.
Tony Bradley was just
Oh man! Next up, we're going to talk about Patrick Williams and his availability for this game. But next up, got to talk to you guys about Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. At that, if you want to learn film, you can do so with Big Papa Iger, who used to run Disney over there, with over 180 classes from a range of world-class instructors. That thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. What is Masterclass? Masterclass is accessible on your phone, web, or smart TV, offering classes on a wide variety of topics, all taught by world-class instructors at the top of their field. Each class is broken out into individual video lessons, usually around 10 minutes long. Members can explore at their own pace, and each class is supported by downloadable materials, class guides, recipes, and more. You can find all your available classes at masterclass.com. Hundreds of video lessons from 180 plus of the top, most brilliant minds are available anytime, anywhere on iOS, Android, desktop, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. Annual membership starts at $180 per year.
We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights on that only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Pat. So the other Pat, Patrick Williams, we saw him kind of look like he twisted his ankle, rolled his ankle a little bit. He's right now listed as questionable with a sprained ankle. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not really expecting him to play in this game just because of how quick it is after spraining that ankle. So that means the Bulls are going to come into this game more than likely pretty undersized compared to just how much size. The freaking Orlando Magic have been starting Franz Wagner at the 2, which is crazy. There's going to be a team with a lot of height, a lot of length, man. What do you think there?
Yeah, like, I mean, Franz will probably play a little bit more normal position if Paolo's not going to go, but
that's true.
It's still like a large lineup, a very large line. You know what I mean? So like, I think the big thing for me is that if you do go into this game without P. Will, right, this is going to be a time, and I'm sorry if you don't do it in this game. When are you going to do it? We need to see the kid. You know, I don't know. I would expect Patrick not to play in this one because for me, right, like, I know, like, we need to start winning games. It needs to be, oh, my God, put it all on the line right now. But it's November. Like, sit him down. Let the ankle heal. Let him get 100%. He's not running that fast or moving that fast without with the ankle being healthy. Mm-hmm. Honestly, right, like, one of my pet peeves offensively after rewatching a game with Patrick Williams is when everybody's in the game, he just stands there sometimes.
Yeah,
he's just
offensively,
there.
Yeah, but defensively, he's much better being like that. I think too, when you look at for the reasons why Patrick Williams may sit this game, they're a team that's Magic only won 4 games, even though they do have some size on you. But outside of that, it really allows because we don't play again until Monday, so it really allows Patrick Williams to take almost a week to heal from that sprained ankle, and then you need him against Boston, a team that has a lot of length and a lot of size there. So I do think it's more than likely that. Now watch, with us saying that, by the time this episode goes live, it'll be like, oh, P. Will's playing tonight.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, right, this is a game, like I said, if he does play, fine, let him run. If he doesn't play, I need to see the kid. Not to say that I need to see what Dalen Terry's going to do for 25 minutes a game. I mean, we're going to see a ton of Javonte Green. We're going to see a ton of DJJ. We're going to see a ton of these. But, like, you have to figure out, I think that there is something to be said when people complain about Billy Donovan's small ball lineups with how little he uses the guys that have size, even just to see, hey, do y'all suck? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Dalen Terry, we haven't seen much of him in meaningful basketball. We saw a little bit of him, I think, on one of Zach's games where he was out on a back-to-back. He got like 3-4 minutes in actual meaningful basketball. We've seen none of Marco in actual meaningful basketball, right? Like Tony Bradley, I mean, listen, he's giving speeches. So I don't know what I don't know if that's the guy that Billy's looking to go to here. And I think we kind of know what that is. But right, like the guys that do have size on this team, Billy Donovan doesn't even put them out there to see if they suck. And maybe they suck so bad in practice that he doesn't have to,
Yeah.
or you're just trying to give other guys the shot ahead of it, or he trusts the veteran. Like, there's a bunch of different things that can go into it. But at the end of the day, Dalen Terry's a young guy that's 6'7", 210, 212, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an NBA level player that should be able, or size-wise, an NBA level player that should be able to get out on the floor. And the fact that he can't get out on the floor is a little confusing at times when you're literally just like, well, we're without this big guy now, so we're just gonna play DJJ at the center and roll with that. Okay.
Tony Bradley at point guard. I'm telling you, it unlocks the whole Bulls offense. You play everything through
That's
Tony
the answer,
Bradley.
bro. We play all the bigs at once, bro. We play Marco at the point. Tony Bradley's your 2 because he won the 3-point contest. At the 3, you got Patrick Williams. At your 4, you've got Dalen Terry out there, the young rook. And then, no, I'm sorry. You got 4, you go Vooch. And then 5, you go Andre Drummond. Dalen Terry's the first man off the bench. You're going with the giant lineup to destroy every team rebounding wise. You won't score any points, but neither will they because they'll never have the ball because of rebound.
How did we get here, bro? Like, how did the joke turn into?
I'm gonna plug that lineup in on 2K and see what it do.
Bro, like that
all bigs lineup,
bro. That everybody on there. The first time you get a fast break, everybody's energy is gonna be in the red.
0.
And you're done. You're done. Like
Kevin Hart talking about Shaq when he fell over. Oh god,
that is hilarious, bro. But the thing with Patrick Williams being out, they're going to play it safe with Pat, but this is the same thing that we suffered last season, is the fact that anybody with some size on this roster who gets hurt, we're automatically a smaller team after that. Like devastatingly so. Like I said, the matchup against the Magic, I do think, especially if, let's say, Wendell does end up missing this game as well, the Bulls have more than enough. Shout out to Ball also, who's been balling this season a little bit.
Ball is so interesting. I'm mad that you call him Ball. What the heck is that?
I don't care.
Why'd you call him Ball?
Ball.
That's it feels like a pause, but we'll leave it alone. But anyway, I it's so interesting, right? Because the Magic are a team literally just of big men that if you give them a shot, they probably all can play.
Oh, for sure.
And Mo Bamba can play. Bobo can play. Wendell has kind of come into his own a little bit more. He's he's a 12-10 guy, 15-10 guy. Banchero clearly can play. Franz Wagner can play. Mo Wagner can play. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of big dudes that you're just like, hey, it's a bunch of dudes that can play.
With a bunch of guards who we still don't know who's actually good on, which guards are good on that team.
They're all hurt, or none of them hurt. Like, I'm very
Fultz
confused.
and
on
Cole
the guard
Anthony
play.
are hurt.
I'm always confused on the guard. I think we said this. Man, did we say this on Locked On Bulls? I think we did, bro. It feels like the Magic have too many players. Like,
were we just talking on the phone?
We might have just been talking, bro. Yeah. But like, it feels like the Magic have 7 centers and power forwards, but also like 7 point guards, no shooting guards, no forwards, just like no small forwards, just 7 point guards as well. Like,
so they got Jalen Suggs, RJ Hampton, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, all point guards. And you throw into Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, also at the guard. They got a lot of guards there, bro. But they got a lot of big men.
Got a lot of bigs. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is this team? Who built this? Who put this together and was like, we're running out on the season on this, bro? Like, I feel like Orlando deserves more. They just had Shaq and Dwight Howard. That's all they've had.
And what if they end up with Wembanyama too? It's just like
another big.
Somebody getting traded.
You trade every other big outside of Banchero, and you start over. Like, you should have 2 players on your roster if you get Wembanyama.
Bol.
Just nope, he's gone too.
He's gone.
You should have 2 players on your roster if you get You should have Banchero and you should have Wembanyama.
No, you got to keep Bol and Wembanyama, because at that point you then have a front line of like at least AK's wet dream, like all 8 foot wingspans What his wet dream? Absolutely. You're looking at Paulo Banchero, Bol, and Victor Wembanyama all out there as our powers combine. Captain Cardi's out there, bro. Come on, bro.
AK would leave the Bulls to go be the GM of Magic.
He'll just show up at Magic's practices like,
he's just sitting there staring, just like, I like what I see here. How'd he get in here? I like what I see.
Then he disappears like Batman. As soon as you turn your head, he's gone.
Yeah. It's just like the GM walks away. You know, we've got a spot for a guy like you, and it's just quiet behind him. Turns around and AK's gone.
Oh man.
Man. Before we get to this final topic, bro, we gotta, because here's the thing that we gotta discuss in this final topic, man. Lonzo Ball was supposed to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Haven't heard a thing. Anyway, we want to tell you guys about BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net, your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer, esports. We've got it all at BetOnline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today and use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, it's where the game starts.
All right, so you already alluded to it, Pat. One Lonzo Ball is supposed to be evaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. This Friday marked the 7 weeks spot here. We got no updates on Lonzo Ball. Has AK and Eversley pulled one over on us and used this losing streak as a way to be like, hey, pay no attention to the point guard over here. We don't know nothing about that. No update yet on Lonzo Ball. Is this a good sign? Is this, all jokes aside, is this a good sign? Do you think that maybe they're going to announce the reevaluation maybe Monday and say, hey, now Lonzo Ball has this timeline? Yeah. Or do you think it's going to be more of the same of kind of what it was last season? He tried to ramp up, wasn't able to go. As of right now, what is your gut telling you?
Well, I mean, I still think he should be back around January, right? Because maybe we did get the update and we didn't pay attention to that being the update. Remember, we had heard he was working out in the pool and that he was moving and feeling better. So maybe that was the reevaluation update. We haven't gotten a date set on Lonzo or anything. But I mean, like, I guess technically we did get an update. It would be hilarious if AK is like, I need y'all to go on a losing streak, so that nobody knows what's going on with Lonzo Ball. And then like somebody turns around and is like, who was that? I don't know. I think it was the AK. He lives in the rafters. Well, he's basically Batman. Captain Carney's up top.
All of a sudden you see a red dot come across DeMar's face in the press conference. Yeah. Like, don't say nothing. We don't talk about Lonzo.
We don't talk about Lonzo. No, honestly, bro, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's good news that we got a legit update on Lonzo, the one that we did get, but then there was nothing medical that came about from it. And I think that's the question mark, right? Do we have something medical that we know that the knee is good to go, that we know that he's able to start to ramp up, that we know that he's able to start to run? Like, the problem was, right, like when the last update we'd heard pre him going back under the knife was that he couldn't run. It's a very key part of basketball.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's the question with Lonzo. And the tough part is, right, you have to come to grips with the fact that Lonzo doesn't save the Chicago Bulls when he does come back. Do the Bulls start playing better? Maybe, right? Like, I think he's an asset that you have on your team. He's a 24-year-old point guard that moves the ball well, that has amazing court vision, finds players on this court better than Dragic. Dragic be finding people that you don't see.
He sees you right now where you are. He could pass you the ball right now from the United States.
It'd be wild. I wish my wife was down here. I got a basketball right there. I'd have just been like, hey. But no, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know what the expectation is, but the thing is, right, like Alonso's not going to come back and be the savior of this team. And we have to stop thinking that way. We thought that way last year. When AK or when Caruso comes back, our defense will be back. It worked for 10 minutes of a game, and then it never really worked. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's a team game. It's a team style of play, and you have to play as a team. And guess what? If Lonzo comes back to a team that's struggling, they'll just be struggling, but maybe a little bit less with Lonzo, right? Like you're not going to go win a championship if Lonzo Ball comes back. If Lonzo Ball comes back from a year off and all of a sudden the Bulls look like a championship team, I will shut up. I'll just be like, you know what? Maybe I don't know that much.
Lonzo comes back and he's just playing at this MVP level, and we're just watching like, hey, whoa.
Hey, bro, he's playing at a Jordan level. It's like, we got to pay him now? We got to.
Shout out to Rap God Reloaded, because I already know he's going to be in the comments typing away, Lonzo Ball has the second highest plus minus of any Chicago Bulls player.
But at least
he loves quoting it.
At least that's his voice. At least it's not the whining voice.
That's only for live streams. Not the whining voice. That's only for live streams.
Yeah, I mean, I think, right, like the fact that we haven't gotten an update outside of that, I guess that is somewhat concerning, but I don't know. Like, he's been gone so long, my mindset is basically he's not on the team. Like, I've never thought about this Bulls team this season with what they're going to look like when Lonzo Ball comes back.
That's tough.
I've never thought about it. I feel the same. Legit, me and Nick Angstead were talking about this over on Locked On NBA.
Did you just use his last name?
Well, that's what his name is on the You Did.
Hey, okay.
What am I calling? They got to know who it is from Locked On Mavs and from Locked On NBA.
Call him Little Nicky, aka David Spade.
Call him Spade. me and Spade were talking last night, and no, but honestly, I asked him the question. I was like, "How many times have you forgotten Ben Simmons plays for the Nets?" Like, that's how I feel about Lonzo Ball right now. Like, there's been times where I've forgotten Lonzo's a part of this team until like they panned to him on the sideline. I'm like, oh yeah, he does come back eventually. Maybe.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean? Like, that's really what it is. Like, it's the same situation. And Billy Donovan isn't living and dying on if Lonzo comes back. The Chicago Bulls as a whole aren't living and dying on if Lonzo comes back. And 8K is operating essentially as if you might not see Lonzo back for a while. That's why we have a guy like Dragic in here. That's why we have Ayo. That's why we have, so many guards on this team to make up for the guard injuries that keep popping up. Kobe White's going, Lonzo's going, stuff like that. So it seems to me like AK's kind of lining up that way. So I don't know. At the end of the day, very confusing.
I go back and forth. There are times where I think about it and I'm like, listen, they just don't want to risk the up and down, right? The let's get the fan base excited. Let's pull it back in. Maybe they're just not saying anything until they have a surefire. Hey, Lonzo's going to be back second week of December, which is second week of January. It's definitely not going to be the second.
I was going to say, you know something I don't know.
So I think that's the way that I'm leaning right now. Would I like a more surefire update? Would I like a sure thing? Yeah, sure, I would, absolutely. Because while Lonzo coming back does not fix everything that ails the Chicago Bulls, I do think that of course it helps, right? You shouldn't add a player and it not help at all. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's going to take, to me, I don't expect Lonzo to come back, even when he does, and probably not look like Lonzo for maybe a month. To be out of basketball for a year, it's going to take some time. And so we need to temper our expectations, I think, as Bulls fans over just, it may not be, honestly, until the end of the season where Lonzo completely gets his rhythm back.
I think the thing, right, even when he does come back, the thing that will help that a lot of people probably don't focus in on is Lonzo was that extra rebounder. Lonzo was that guy that was second leading rebounder. He was your second leading rebounder. He was the guy that was going to go down there and grab boards, and he was grabbing them, defensive rebounds, flicking his wrist. The ball would just land in Zach's hand. He 360 windmills a dunk, looks at the ref, does like the point thing, claps, and he's like, "You also missed the foul." Yeah, I mean, like there was a lot going on in those plays, but there's so much that he brought to the team outside of offense that I think you'll get that back probably within the first month. The shooting is probably the thing that's going to take the longest to come back.
That's fair.
You know, he was shooting above 40% from everywhere on the floor. That'll probably be the thing that takes the longest to come back. We say all this, right? And Lonzo walks on the court the first night, and he looks like the best point guard.
20 and 15.
All right.
2015 and 6, like just out there balling.
7 steals. He has a Brook Lopez night. Did y'all see that? Brook Lopez drains.
Lonzo Ball comes a quadruple double from Lonzo Ball his first game back. Like,
20, 20, 20, and 20.
Bro, Ball stands would lose their minds.
Hey,
if
bro,
that
I would just come in here. I'd be like, y'all win. Let me say that, y'all win. Now, don't give me that game, because in Bulls history, those are the games that you look at and you be like, oh my God, this is what we were missing. And then the next game, he give you like 0, 0, 0, and 1 in 38 minutes of play. Nah, don't give me that game. Just come back, be a very regular dude. Work your way up, bro. Work your way up.
Bro, that is it for the day, unless you got anything left, brother.
Nah, man, I appreciate y'all for pulling up and rocking with us, man. This is supposed to be our mailbag episode, but didn't nobody call in.
Guys got to leave the voicemails. We got to do a better job at plugging it. We'll plug it at the end of the show, but you guys got to leave them voicemails.
Leave them voicemails, man. We want to hear from y'all. That's the most fun part of this show, man, where we get to listen in to you guys and break down some of you guys' commentary and stuff like that. But follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Although if Elon has his way, those might not exist after tonight or tomorrow. So we'll see what's going to go on with that. So maybe don't follow. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see if it's still up there to follow. If it is, you can follow me at CEO Haize, the CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen. Now for your next listen, check on Locked On Sports Today. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. We out, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. Oh, you brought it back, man. Now we look weird. Now we look weird. It's like you pulled the curtain back.